Dear viewers, warm welcome to the final round of today's Bangladesh Television English Debate Competition. Now, we're going to enjoy a lively debate competition participated by two competent teams. Today, the selected motion of the debate competition is Information is Right, Not Power. Majid Jaina Foundation School and College, Shariatpur, is for the motion, and Mirzapur Cadet College, Tangail, is against the motion. Speakers for the motion are Tamanna Parvin Juwairia, first speaker of the Majid Jaina Foundation School and College, Shariatpur team, Suhana Khan Laz, second speaker of the team, and Tanji Akhtar Toma, third speaker and leader of the team. Speakers against the motion are Cadet Tanjim, first speaker of the Mirzapur Cadet College Tangail team, Cadet Sabik, second speaker of the team, and Cadet Sajid, third speaker and leader of the team. The honorable adjudicators of this session are Al Jamal Mustafa Sindaini, PhD Fellow, Assistant Professor and Eminent Debater, Department of Sociology, Bangladesh University of Professionals, BUP. Muhammad Abdur Razzaq Mia, Research Officer, Bangladesh Bureau of Educational Information and Statistics, BENBASE. Dr. Irene Akhtar, Associate Professor, Institute of Business Administration, Jahangirnagar University. Nishat Sultana, Program Coordinator, Gender Justice and Diversity Program, BRAC, columnist and author. The honorable moderator of today's debate competition is Professor Dr. Abdul Manan Choudhury, Vice Chancellor, World University of Bangladesh. Before we start the debate, let me inform you about the order and time allocation of each debater. Each debater will get 5 minutes. Alarming bell will ring on 4th minute and final bell will ring on 5th minute. In the rebuttal round, both the team leaders will get 3 minutes. Alarming bell will ring on the 2nd minute, and final bell will ring on the 3rd minute. I now most humbly request the honorable moderator to preside over this competition and start the debate.
Thank you very much. Let me welcome everybody to the debate competition. Today, the topic of the debate you have already heard, and you have also heard the names of the competitors representing Majid Jaina Foundation School and College, Shariatpur, and Mirzapur Cadet College, Tangail. But it is my turn to request Tamanna Parvin Juwairia, first speaker for the motion team.
Thank you, Honorable Moderator, for giving me the floor to speak something at today's debate. The motion presented before us at today's debate is Information is Right, Not Power. And for very logical, actual and factual causes, I would like to establish my position in favor of the motion. Honorable Moderator, as the first speaker of today's debate, I would like to define the motion at the very outset. And to define the motion, I would like to give emphasis on some words that are information, right, and power. So, what is information? According to RTI Act 2009, we say information is official activities and includes any memo, book, design, map, contact data, logbook, account, statement, project, proposal, and so on. But, Honorable Moderator, here information does not include any office note sheets or photocopies of sheets. Now comes to the point of power. According to Oxford Dictionary, power means the ability or capacity to do something or act in a particular way. In another place, we say power means political or social authority or control, especially that it is exercised by a government. Lastly, I would like to define to the point of right. Right means what is morally correct, just, or honorable. It is also legal entitlement to have or do something. Honorable Moderator, today we'll highlight 2 points. So, in our first point is information is right, and our second point is information is not power. And today we would like to propose and request our opponent to explain how information is not right and how it is power. But if they can't explain it exactly, logically, actual and factually, then they can't but have to support our logical, actual and factual motion, that is information is right, it is not power at all. I'm honored to prove the motion at today's debate. We would like to present some powerful standpoints, and we will prove these standpoints with exact theory, logic, data, and information. This is standpoint, sir. Point number 1, the right to information and its utilization in public life. Point number 2, power implementation in the name of right to information and its bad impacts in national life. Point number 3, instance of the practice of right to information and it's not logical to show it as power. I'm honored as the first speaker of today's debate. I would like to explain the first standpoint presented by me. I would like to draw your kind attention. I'm speaking of the Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs. According to its official page, it is quoted that in the Constitution of Bangladesh, every citizen has been given the right to thought, speech and conscience. And on the moderator, right to information is always solely related to the freedom of thought, speech and conscience. As General Master, the owner of all power of state, to ensure right to information is a must. As a result, we see in non-government organization, the point of clarity and accountability is nicely vitalized, corruption has decreased, and good governance becomes established. And for this actual contest, we would like to clearly, purely, surely, and vigorously declare that information is right. It is not power, and after all, not power. Honorable Monitor, maybe today our opponent matched their voice with the illogical motion that is information is not right, rather it is power. But have they thought for a single moment that if there is no right, there will be no way to show power at all? Because understand, when you get the rights, you will get the power. Think for a while that power has no existence without right. Honorable Monitor, according to the official page of Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs, it is quoted that in the Constitution of Bangladesh, the authority will provide proper information asked by a citizen. And corresponding to the request of a citizen, the authority is bound to provide this under some terms and conditions. As the outcome of this law, we are getting opportunity to know any information in every sphere of our country. And also as the outcome of the RTI Act 2009, it is quoted that and also the outcome of the RTI, we see Digital Information Service Center in every Union Council in Bangladesh. Honorable Monitor, according to www.ict.ministry.bd, it is quoted that every day 70 lakhs people take digital information service directly or indirectly. I repeat once again, every day 70 lakhs people take digital information service directly or indirectly. And in this regard, information is available now. Honorable Moderator and traditional educators, if you are all still not convinced, then it will be as clear as water after explaining my last point. The golden dreamland of the best Bengalis of thousands years. The father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, is not a dream now. In reality, we are now living in the golden dreamland Bangladesh, in where the daughter of the father of the nation, the Honorable Prime Minister of People's Republic Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, has ensured clarity and accountability in every sector. And in this regard, Bangladesh
Thank you very
has
much
been.
indeed.
With this, I would like to conclude. Thank you, Honorable
Yep.
Moderator, traditional educators, and thank you all.
Well, Cadet Tanjim, you are requested as first speaker against the motion team.
Honorable Moderator, thank you for giving me the floor. The topic says information is right, not power. We choose to stand against. First of all, the topic never included that it is confined within the territory of our country. Honorable Moderator, fellow judges, before proceeding any further, I would like to define and clarify a few points, especially to our opponents. Ladies and gentlemen, let us broaden our views. All data is not information. Information is refined data which is meaningful. It is an entity that provides you answer to your question. It refers to whatever we know or want to know, ranging from intelligence, facts, news, reports, statistics about organization, country, etc. As our learned opponents could not establish a bridge between knowledge and information, let me make things clear. Knowledge is the next level of information. In defining power, our learned opponents only saw one side of the coin and decided to forget the other. Power is something that is used to cause an event, influence something, dominate a state, as well as stand against unjust, power of persuasion, power of survival, etc. Honorable Moderator, our learned opponents misinterpreted the definition of rights. Right does not include the information which is not meant for you. Rights are what we lawfully deserve, can demand and are entitled to enjoy lawfully only. It cannot be someone else's information, state secrets, or government's top secret profiles that you claim as information being your rights. Honorable Moderator, let us make our stance clear. The opposition of today's House shall be proving how information is not a right in all cases, but it is your power in each and every scenario. Since the topic does not mention any particular sort of information or power, this House is about to bring all sort of information and power, may it be social, political, legal, illegal, and everything else. Honorable Moderator, firstly let us talk about two powers. The power of dominance for the elites. For example, in the past Hinduist community, the lower castes were not given the rights to information and knowledge, what they deserved. But understand, this is the same reason they were devoid of their power too. This clearly states that since the lower castes did not have information, they were powerless, unlike the Brahmin community. And another is the power to stand and to speak up. During the British regime, the Hinduist community got the information how the modern world works. As a result, they finally learned how to get up from all those traditional discrimination, and they urged for power. Information was at the root of this knowledge. This is how information worked, as power does not have to be a right always. Honorable Moderator, let us not forget about the work of a nation, the center of intelligence. As we all see, the CIA is using information, unambiguous ones, which of course provides it with power. The powerful states feared this organization, as this agency may contain informations which were gathered in secret. The CIA alone took down 7 working governments, not by means of political power only, but because of being the possessor of extremely secret informations. Now look, you might have a good relation, good deal of weapons, good social and political communications, but you cannot achieve all means without informations. See, when Osama bin Laden was a key factor since 1990s, the United States needed information to infiltrate into Pakistan, get down the coordinates, take down Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda. Information worked as the root here. Honorable Moderator, a single piece of information turned this world into a powerhouse. Let me explain. When Oppenheimer first invented the atomic bomb, there was a breach to it. Klaus Fuchs was present all the time as a spy and was there too at the Manhattan Project, where the US tested their first ever nuclear power of domination. It was this red spy who stole all the atomic bomb secret formulas and information and gave it to the Russian Federation in 1945. Russia used those informations, modified them, manipulated them, and gave birth to hydrogen bombs. And a weapon which is roughly 1,000 times more powerful than atomic bombs and able to obliterate vast areas. A single information changed the power dimension of this world. Now, when Klaus Fuchs stole that information, it was not his right. But whenever he provided Russia with that information, Russia transformed it into power. Honorable Moderator, our learned opponents claim that information is a right, so it is a power. This is the same concern of ours. The information which are meant to be right, that is our power, and that is what we are trying to prove. Thank you for agreeing with us.
Well,
With this question, I'd like to conclude. Thank you very much.
next speaker on behalf of the motion is Suhana Khan Laj.
Honorable Moderator, the first speaker of our opponent has stated that information is power, not right. But he has not clarified the position. That means if he entitles information to power, he has to prove that information is not right. But already the fourth speaker of my side has been able to prove that information is right, not power at all. Honorable Moderator, we have observed and noted that the fourth speaker of our opponent produced a sound again and again. That is power, power, and power. But she has not been able to present any logical data, theory, and information. And to demolish his disorder speech, I would like to say that from the point of right of view of information, all the countries of the world match information to power, or to right. They have not matched information to power. So it's again and again needless to say that information is right, not power at all. Thank you, Honorable Moderator, for giving me the floor to speak something in favor of my position. Honorable Moderator, now I would like to draw your attention that now I'll present second standpoint presenting by the first speaker of my side. Yes, Honorable Moderator, I'm presenting the standpoint implementation in the name of right to information and its bad impact on our national life. Honorable Moderator, information is not only for receiving but also for giving. Here, giving and taking are interrelated. In this regard, right to information as power must bring a great problem in our personal, social, and national life as well. Honorable Moderator, I would like to draw your attention that On 6 May 2014, in some daily newspaper, online portal, private TV channel, the news of death of numerous people was published. Even at the last of the last year, with some false information, the soft-minded student went to a wrong way from a peaceful movement. Is that the power of information? No, honorable moderator, it cannot be called power of information. And this very real, actual, factual, and logical causes, I would like to say that information is right, not power at all. Let's see, honorable moderator. One an information create problem, one an information destroy peaceful situation, and one an information makes the government confused, then it can be called a power. Draw your attention to the opponent. In 1988, above 1 lakh people died. In Chiragam and Cox's again 2007, hundreds of people died for seizure. And in the Femine in 76, millions of people died. Though disaster destroy used property and destroy used property in post, but in last 5 years, we saw numerous natural calamities but get reduction of loss. Honorable moderator, in this regard, the reduction of loss is nothing but the outcome of available information before disaster, during disaster, and after disaster. Honorable moderator, according to the website of Disaster and Relief Management Ministry, at the first decades of 21st century, the rate of death and destruction was very much heartbreaking. But in last year, the rate was 0.73%. And it has been possible for easy and available access to information. Now people can get information of the disaster before its occurrence. So, honorable moderator, this very clear variance purely, surely, logically, practically, and obviously prove that information is right, not power at all. Honorable moderator, I would like to draw your attention that now I would like to highlight the International Commission for the Right to Information. According to its principle, every citizen of our country or every citizen will get all accessible information normally. Almost all the countries of the world have signed this agreement. All the countries of the world have bound to respect the principle, and under this principle, every citizen will get all accessible information. But, honorable moderator, being separate from this principle, if anybody wants to get information by power, it will make a great hazard in peace and order. For example, we can draw the reference of the founder of WikiLeaks, Mr. Julian Assange. He has hacked the important information from different websites. That is totally an illegal way and never expected. Honorable moderator, it crossed the area of right and reveals the legal power to information access. Honorable moderator, all the powerful countries of the world like America, Russia, Japan, Sweden, Switzerland, Italy, Canada, and so on fall into a great threat for this very enormous access to information. Honorable moderator, we saw the world politics turn into a dangerous position. What does this variance indicate to the opponent? This variance indicates that when information takes the position of power, it must be a great threat to human existence. And then the world will face a situation that is, might is right. And this might is right situation is never wanted and expected. Thank you, honorable moderator, fellow judges, and all the presence here.
Second is Speaker against the motion team, Cadet Sabik.
Honorable moderator, our learned opponents have tried to claim that information is not meant to be power, which is not at all our concern because it never really matters whether information is meant to be power or not. What really matters and we are debating on is whether information became power or not, whether it becomes power or not. That is our prime concern. Let me prove you how information became a power in each case, but it was not a right of anyone of this world. Concluding with my arguments, firstly, honorable moderator, the case of WikiLeaks. Though it was not the right of Julian Assange, and though he infiltrated the rights of many, but it was his power. How? Let me show you. WikiLeaks, that same organization in 2006 could not influence a person even. In 2016, influenced the entire US election. Ask me how. By leaking the private emails of Hillary Clinton, we all know who she was, the Democratic Party candidate. Her emails were leaked by WikiLeaks, and thus what happened? We all know what happened in this election of the US. Hillary Clinton lost. WikiLeaks did not have any ability, though it was not their right, but they surely achieved power by leaking the right information in the right time. That made that powerful. Information is a power every time. Honorable moderator, I would be liking to prove how information since the ancient times, since the caveman times, proved to be the main source of power, the roots of power. Firstly, information being a power in changing the course of an entire world war. Honorable moderator, Everyone has heard of World War II, but we never realized that during the World War II, the British and the Allied forces won the war earlier, 2 to 4 months earlier, because they had decrypted Enigma. What is Enigma? Secret German communications and messages of the Axis powers during the war. Thanks to Alan Turing and other Polish officials, the British and the Allied forces became successful in decrypting the encrypted communications of Hitler with his frontline generals and other top signals of the Axis forces, including detailed war situation reports. All of these masses of information, Honorable Moderator, has enabled the Axis powers to lose, because the Allied forces understood their war strategy. As a result, they won the war earlier, lessened the amount of devastation, saved millions. Honorable Moderator, information saved millions of people, changed the course of an entire world war. And opponents, what is information here? Is it power or is it power? Question remains. Number 3. Information giving rise to British colonialism. Honorable Moderator, having detailed information about a person, country, or an organization even enables us to understand their weaknesses, vulnerabilities, their weak points, which act as the main basis of exploitation. Exploitation is the power of domination, I'd like to remind all of you. Well, let's look at how British invaded this Indian subcontinent and ruled over us for long 200 years. But we never know, before coming to this country for trade, the British arranged a survey. The survey of the Indian subcontinent, in which the British included and marked every border of India, traced mineral resources, traced ancient origins, found out their language. Why? The British wanted to collect all of the information of the Indian subcontinent, gathered the knowledge of the people. Gathering the knowledge of the people, the British understood what were the deficiencies of the people, the demands of the mass public, and also what were the weak points through which they could exploit them. The result, the British exploited us and ruled over us for 200 years. Learned opponents, information enabled the British to exploit the people of this land for long 200 years. Information gathered about the Indian subcontinent made it a colony. Where is right in this case, learned opponents? I would like you to clarify this point truly. Number 4. Information in molding public opinion and changing people's views towards any event. Honorable Moderator, we never cared whether it is illegal or not, whether it is legal or illegal, whether human lives are saved or lost. Power means power, whether it is for good or for bad. Let us explain you how. Honorable Moderator, information changes people's minds. Information includes everything. So let us look at Poland. The most popular Polish newspaper, Gazeta Wyborcza, published articles focusing on the health problems of the country with the entitled Give Birth the Proper Way. They included all of those problems existing in the healthcare system and the maternal health system of the country. The people reading these articles, reading this information, understood what they needed for the country for their good health. The mass people came out on the streets, resulted in movements and mass agitation, resulted in protests, and finally the state made changes in the legislation. Honorable Moderator, information begets knowledge, and knowledge is power, so is information proud to oppose.
Now, the third speaker and leader for the motion team, Tanji Akhtar Toma.
Thank you, Honourable Moderator, for giving me the floor to speak something in favor of my position at today's debate. Honourable Moderator, the motion of today's debate was mostly desired and recognized issues, what is reflected that to get information is a natural right of a man. To ensure all the rights of the citizen, to ensure clarity and accountability, to remove corruption, there is no equivalent to right to information. Honourable Moderator, right to read these crucial points, the Constitution of the People's Republic of Bangladesh has confirmed the right to information for all the citizens. And right at this time, when our opponent is matching right to information to power, we cannot but oppose it clearly, purely, surely, actually, and we state that information is right, not power. Honourable Moderator, the opponent of force of today's debate can be matched with the Hobo Chandra Minister and Gobu Chandra Prime Minister. Honourable Moderator, once upon a time a king declared that nobody will be unhappy in his kingdom. He published a declaration that from now everybody will be love and be jolly in all situations. Now, an absurd, comic and laughable situation was created, Honourable Moderator. Now, Honourable Moderator, dear opponent, do you know why? Because, Honourable Moderator, people started laughing at the death of his father. People started laughing at the death of his mother. Even after, people started laughing at the death of his son and daughter. And in this situation, the administration of the kingdom proved to be most absurd in the history. What a funny situation was created, Honourable Moderator.
Yes, it was an example of power implementation. Thinking out of natural behavior brought disaster to the kingdom. And honorable moderator, right to information is an actual right of a man, but if we express it as power excess, we must fall into a great danger. Dear opponent, I would like to draw your attention that the Act of Right to Information cannot be applied for a special and detective branch of police, DGFI, NSI, and some other sectors. These sectors are totally inaccessible for general people. Here, the question of right doesn't get any light at all. Similarly, it is totally illogical and irrelevant to right to information. But, moderator, when right to information is taken as power, the main spans of the state have been broken seriously. And for these reasons, the security and privacy are facing crisis that is not good for a country at all. So, honorable moderator, it is once again clearly, purely, surely, and actually be proved that information is right, not power. Honorable moderator, I would like to draw your attention now. We will look out an observation. The first and second speaker of my side have already said that right to information is directly related to getting information. It may be called open information. In some countries of the world, it is called freedom of information also. Honorable moderator, according to American Information Service Agency, the USA calls this act an inherent law. In the headline of AIS, it is boldly written that information is right. Honorable moderator, according to International Commission for Right Information, about 80 countries of the world have implemented this law already. If we look back, we see that in 1966, Sweden pushed this law as the first country of the world. Since 1966, with the moderation of civilization, almost all the countries of this law to ensure the citizen right. And on a moderator, they have been showing respect to this law and they have established getting information as our right. On a moderator, according to South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, almost all the countries of this law to ensure the citizen right. It is to be included that in 2002, Pakistan passed an act, and in 2005, India did the same. And in 2008, Bangladesh passed an act entitled as Right to Information. On the moderator, and today this very act is implemented as Right to Information Act 2009. On the moderator, freedom of speech, thought, conscience are interrelated, and the practicality of this is nicely established in our country with the passing of time. As an outcome of this, all the newspaper can publish news freely. On the moderator, according to Information Ministry, presently there are 43 private TV channels in Bangladesh. Likewise, there are about 19,000 newspapers in district, division, and national level. Moreover, there are 200 online news portals in Bangladesh. On the moderator, according to a survey of Information Ministry, in response to different TV channels and newspaper, we see about 83 live talk show. Dear opponent, can you imagine it? 83 live talk show every day. And this very information, theory, logic, data clearly, purely, surely, and vigorously prove that information is right, not power, not power, and after all, not power. On the moderator, the rules and law of a country, the laws of South Asian country, the laws of international peer support and reflect only one sentence, that is, information is right. But my moderator, they never support or quote that information is power. But my moderator, opponent is making one sentence again and again, that is, information is power, information is power, and information is power. And with this sentence, they're making a smoke atmosphere of today's TV that is totally, wholly, and fully unacceptable. And on moderator, in reply to their idea, I would like to quote that information is right, information is right, and information is right. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, the third speaker and leader against the motion.
Behold the name of Robi 4.5G, which gives you free Facebook for a whole month at only 8 taka. That's an offer. Free Facebook, free Messenger, WhatsApp at only 2 taka. Then how does Facebook earns $568 per second? How does Google earns $2,378 per second, which is more than our per capita income? And at the same time, they provide us with free service. Well, we'll soon come to understand that they don't earn through us. We earn for them. Thank you, Honorable Moderator, panel of judges, opponents, greetings. Speaking against the motion, we firmly believe information is not always right, but it is always a power. We bring you 7 arguments. The second speaker described 2 most important historical essentials of power, and the first speaker described power from different dimensions. I shall be on 3 surmount arguments. First, how all information are not your birthright. Second, how information led us to defeat and gain power over our mightiest enemies. And third, how information creates the invisible hands of power for tech companies like Google, Facebook, and Tesla. First point. The opposition never denied that information is a right. We accept it. But only the accessible information you pay and suit for. Say, for example, state issues, ministry expenditure regarding different projects of the state, and different laws, of course. These are your rights because you pay taxes for them. But information on state secrets, personal issues, relationships, foreign diplomatics, which might cause a disturbance in the whole social system, which might create chaos in the system, are not your right, because we all are meant to this. Now, Honorable Moderator, the information the opponents are claiming right to someone, it might be years of effort. To someone, it might be billions of investment. So in this era of information dominance, where information is a tradable product, where information is a product which you can trade and create an entire market on, for the name and disguise of humanity, for the name and disguise of killing people, we cannot claim those information, we cannot claim those very expensive pieces of information our right. It just doesn't feel right. In the coming arguments, I'll prove whether it is always a right or not, it is always a power. Second argument, 700 years from now, there was a plague called Black Death, which caused the lives of almost 200 million people, caused by a bacteria named Yersinia pestis. It caused the lives of half population of Florence, 4 out of 10 people in England, and more than a quarter population in Eurasia. Power to kill millions and cause brutal fear in billions were vested in the hands of a small bacteria. Today, 600 years later, we didn't only survive from those bacteria, we didn't only survive from their attacks, but we used those very bacteria to accelerate the production of bread. We accelerated our production from bread just we had as in breakfast. We use E. coli bacteria in gene replication. With the advent of modern information-based society, this dramatic shift of power from lifeless bacteria to the hands of human beings has been made possible, because information was the power we achieved. Information ensures right. Right is being a power itself. Same thing happened in case of famines. Back in 1974, Honorable Moderator, we faced a massive famine which caused the lives of 1.5 million people, which is almost equal to the current population of Khulna. In 1694, 2.8 million people starved to death in France, so the French population had to suffer a lot. Now tell us, when was the last time you heard a massive famine attacked information-based society and a lot of people died? Because it was long, long ago, because information won us the battle, information won us against the power, information won us against food storage, better growth, and gave us reserves, made us more powerful. Third and final argument, as mentioned earlier, tech companies earn a huge amount of money from our daily activities. They manipulate it and they sell it, they trade it on the highest bidder to many corporations. Take, for example, in Ireland, pro-life groups detest and dominate the abortion right activists. So when Irish women were found participating in this movement, were publicly named and shamed for being queered, for being feminist, for having an abortion in Ireland, pro-life groups had them arrested. Here we have to understand tech companies only care about making their own money. So do understand where they get this data. They get this data from social media. They track your likes, dislikes, interests, political views, as well as your religious intentions. Tech companies sell information to data farms like Cambridge Analytica, which can even win you an entire US election. Honorable Moderator, I'll need to ask two very consecutive questions. First, what do these tech companies sell? And second, what it finally becomes? And so helplessly hoping for this answer, I'd like to conclude. Thank you so much, sir.
We have come to the end of the first round. Now the rebuttal round starts. Tanji Akhtar Toma, leader for the motion, will come and speak.
Thank you, Moderator, for giving me the floor once again in rebuttal round. Honorable Moderator, I would like to request my opponent to think a little bit deeply. Dear opponent, suppose you have some information, important information to solve any problem. But you have no capacity or ability to utilize the information. Then, what is the importance or value of information? Honorable Moderator, here, information has no power or value at all because Honorable Moderator, personal capacity or ability is the prime factor here. So you must support our motion positively that information is right, not power. Honorable Moderator, we have already clarified that there are two parts of today's debate. First is information is right, and second is information is not power. As our opponent of today's debate, they should have fixed and clarified their position. But on moderator, they're clearly, purely, surely, and totally failed here. Rather, they center around a sentence that is, information is power. But on moderator, for this today's competition, they should have proved that information is not right and why information is not right. But on the moderator, we observed that they touched one side and missed another. So on the moderator, their failure is obvious to us after all judgment. And that is why I must loudly, strongly, powerfully, vigorously be said that information is right, not power at all. On the moderator, if they don't support information as right, their claim is just like crossing the Padda without knowing how to swim. And this is nothing but false imagination, daydream, and absurd thinking. On the moderator, ultimately it must smoke in vain. On the moderator, the first speaker of opponent has said that he will be powerful after getting information. The opponent, in reply to a speech, I would like to say that directly or indirectly, you are supporting our motion. First of all, you are supporting that information is right, and then you are illegally trying to use it as power. But moderator, in reality, in our constitutions, even if in international arena or in any organization, information is not regarded or used as power. It is only the mirage of your false mind, I think. So, on the moderator, it is once again clearly, purely, surely proved that information is right, not power. On the moderator, we have observed with attention that our opponent has tried to amalgamate information with knowledge and then knowledge with power. On the moderator, to refute the stand, I would like to highlight a practical logic. Dear opponent, I would like to draw your kind attention that we get milk from cow, goat, buffalo, ram, and so on. Similarly, on the moderator, we get liquid rubber from rabbit tree. You know, dear opponent? On the moderator, it is an important similarity that both milk and liquid rubber in white in color. But the reality is that milk is drinkable, but on the moderator, liquid rubber is not drinkable at all. As it's so, I would like to state information is knowledge, but all knowledge is not
Tanji
power at all.
Akhtar Toba.
Thank you, moderator, Philotabus,
Please.
and thank you.
Now it is the turn of the cadet Sajid.
Clearly, purely, and surely, the debate is not on how to save the world, but not from how destructions, not death, but the topic is information is right, not power. Honorable moderator, we won't say we are surprised. We won't say we're offended. We feel offended as citizens of this nation. We feel offended as a subject to the flag because, as mentioned by the first speaker of the opposition, government allocated e-information centers in each union parishad, when government hosted open talk forums, when government hosted numerous satellite channels, when did all this to ensure the power of democracy, to ensure equal distribution of power through equitable access to information for all. We don't understand why our opponents are still unknown to it, or they're afraid. Honorable moderator, they mentioned the press as they weren't consistent with themselves. Let me clarify. Problematic democracies attain power by blocking people's access to mass media like satellite channels. So by blocking information, by exploiting our rights, the ruling elite dominate us. We all know evidence is also one kind of information. So when your government does anything unlawful, unjust, you have the right to know that. So does the mass media has the right to preach that news. But when Ekushe TV, a satellite channel, was preaching the truth in 2001, it was allegedly shut down by as a legit information source which was working side by side with BTV for people's greater right. By blocking information, the then government in 2001 did two things. They blocked our right to information, thus seized our power, and they hoarded the information themselves to establish a more dominant form of governance. Because we all know to stand up against the ruling party, to make them answer, to stand against them, to topple them, we need information, we need evidence. So when you blockade our rights, when you blockade our information, when you put an embargo on our right, it makes us powerless. We have to understand that. But when the current government took office in 2009, they introduced 8 new satellite channels instantaneously, which was a distributive process of power deliberately offered to the people in form of right. We see a correlation of power between government and citizens are based on the concept of information. Information was a true power. Honorable moderator, we literally showed them 11 kinds of information. Say media-based coverage, say scientific information, say classified information, information and exploration results as well as statistics. But we prove all of them to be exactly derived from power in each of the cases, irrespective of time, irrespective of situation, irrespective of whether they're right or not. Understand, as we could see, they were confined to specific boundary conditions for power. We visualize power from different perspectives, which included power to conquer, power to dominate, power over survival. These were also derived from information as well. Do understand, few days ago, two kids, a train was sent to Hungary. They had information regarding cerebral separation. If they didn't have that,
Would
they
you
didn't
mind to
have
take
power
your
over
seat,
us, we
please?
would have been exercising power. So helplessly hoping for
Take your
those
seat,
questions,
please.
I'd like to conclude. Thank you, sir.
Let me congratulate everybody, especially my panel of judges. They've done a very wonderful job. And the teams also made wonderful presentation. I'll be rather hesitant to make any more comments except telling you a couple of riddles. Left is right, right is wrong. Right is right, left is wrong. I'll leave it to you to solve these two riddles. And after that, I'm going to announce the result of the debate. Here the result is with me. Winner in the today's competition is team against the motion, Mirzapur Cadet College, Tangal. Let me congratulate both the teams. The leader, the winner of today's competition, Mirzapur Cadet College, Tangal, and of course, the runners-up, Mojid Jarina Foundation School and College, Shariatpur. Thank everybody for your participation in different roles.